I don't know. I like the theme song, but I think it sounds better when there's 80,000 people singing it.
True enough. True enough.
Well, I don't have 80,000 people here right now.
No.
So,
Yeah, give it time. We can make that happen.
You want to get 80,000 people at Bobby's house?
Get 80,000 good people. We can do that.
80,000 here in my office in Ormond Beach, Florida.
Oh, we're playing again. There we go. Play it again. Oh, Jack. Here we go.
On that note,
and on that note, we are here for a special WrestleMania Day 1 recap edition. Not 2, but 1.
Yes.
And Bob has a special guest with him. You want to introduce special guest?
Yes, this is Willow. This
Hi.
is my youngest daughter, Willow.
Hi.
Willow is an avid wrestling fan. Willow, who is your favorite beyond favorite? Bianca Belair.
I could have sworn she was going to say Bobby Fish. You're clearly not paying her enough money.
I could pay her more. I could definitely pay her more.
Apparently you have to. You're playing second fiddle to Bianca.
Well, I'm playing second fiddle to Mom right now because she needs Mom.
Oh. Well, that's a nice little cameo.
Yeah. But she does have 2 birthday videos from Bianca Belair, who is the main event today of day 2, aka Sunday WrestleMania.
Very true.
We're recapping
day 1.
In other words, Saturday. Because it could be confusing at this point. You got Friday, SmackDown, WrestleMania edition, along with the Hall of Fame, which was then over on Peacock. Sorry, I developed a little bit of Tourette's. Yeah, well, what happened? And then, so I mean, if anybody who's not watched night 1, but Pat McAfee, spoiler, in case you're whatever.
If you haven't watched it by now, you got some problems.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I mean, some people.
If you haven't watched it by now, you should be watching our recap show.
Yeah, you probably
there you go. Good point.
You should be ignoring us.
You should expect some spoilers
in the recap.
Yeah, I guess that kind of goes without saying. Guys, we've covered this before. Like my alcoholism, I've been drinking all day. So, yeah, we have.
So we got Bob the Slob on the show today. That's fun.
Special guest appearance.
He's never. Yeah.
So you were saying about Mr. McAfee, an old opponent of yours.
Yes, former opponent of mine. As far as punters go, I'm more of a Steve Weatherford guy.
Oh, absolutely. And I believe, I could be wrong, I will look up a little bit, but I think Steve, actually, I think McAfee's got a ring too. I think they both have rings.
Weatherford definitely has a ring.
Yeah.
And McAfee, he was on the, McAfee Colts.
Yes, with Peyton Manning.
Yeah.
But if it's a street fight, I'm going to take Steve Weatherford all day, twice on Sunday.
Weatherford, fittest man in the NFL.
Yeah, I mean, I did appreciate Pat coming out and doing the whole thing with the Miz. That was kind of cute.
Yeah.
And then they brought.
I thought it was good. I thought it was really good.
They brought Kittle out. That was good. From top to bottom.
Yes.
Probably one of the very best.
Whoa.
Shows.
Bold.
If you can keep my attention for a good 4 hours, and that was almost 4 hours, you're doing something right.
Okay. You're generally not easily entertained.
Generally, I fall asleep. Sometimes standing up, sometimes upright.
Frank's been known to fall asleep during the episodes of this show. So I mean,
sleeping is
it's a dad thing.
It is.
As soon as you sit on the couch, you're like,
yes, 10:30. I'm like, oh, I'm feeling it. It's time to go sleepy.
Yeah. I was feeling it. By that time I was like 4 old fashions into the night, so I was feeling really fancy.
Yeah. I don't need any help. I just, when it's time to go to sleep, it's time
to go to sleep.
Speaking of old fashions, where do you think of John Cena and Austin?
Yeah, let's start there. Who wants to Who wants to take the first whack at this pinata called WrestleMania?
Frank?
I thought it was a great move by them putting Theory over. I mean, it was one of those passing of the guard type deals.
Okay.
I liked the ending because he really didn't. You still gave Cena his shine. He didn't lose cleanly, I guess, but it was a good match. It was good. It kept. Here's the thing. You put 80,000 people in a football stadium. Generally, the sound disappears through the air because there's no dome on top of it. You knew there was 80,000 people there because they were in it. There was some electricity during that match also. When Cena comes out, great pop.
There could have been electricians in the crowd, too.
I was just going to say.
There was.
You beat me to it, Dennis.
Maybe
probably
some plumbers, some
just
HVAC guys.
There could have been HVAC
based
guys
on
there.
sheer numbers and probability.
Yeah.
I'm no math major, but I think.
I think the only thing that kind of threw me off we didn't get Super Cena last night. Like he has faced much greater opponents than Austin Theory and kicked out of like 5 finishers.
Sure.
We got like just regular movie star John Cena last. Maybe he's not Super Cena anymore.
Well, I mean, I think he's a tiger of many stripes, and
True.
I think he's a bona fide star, inside, outside. The man has it. So whatever his detractors might say, like, the man's good for business. And I thought it was a smart move also putting him on first. Because if you advertise that you're putting Cena on first because he's such a polarizing character, the people that love him are going to tune in right away, and the people that hate him are going to do the same thing because both sets of people, their money is the same color. So it's all. I thought it was a great move both ways. I thought the match delivered. Cena, for what he does, maybe he just knows. Maybe his body. I don't know. I didn't see much ring rust.
No, he looked like he still had it. Like he could still go and bring his A game.
Yeah, and that I mean, I'll speak a little bit from experience. When you don't do it for a while, that first bump generally, kind of shoots down your spine, and you're like, "Ooh, do I do this? Is this?" And some nights you're like, "Okay, this is going to be a progression coming back." But yeah, I thought it was good. I thought Theory delivered. Crazy to me to see him on that stage. And then think back to I don't know, he was banged up. I was banged up. One of us, or maybe both of us, who knows? But we did just some, it was like just kind of getting the gears turning again. We did some wrestling when he first came into NXT, and to think that that's the same kid from, Evolve. I remember seeing him in Evolve and being like, "Oh yeah, kid seems," and they're pushing him, so they were already doing some stuff with him. So somebody had seen his talent long before I did. But I
think we take credit for it. Just take credit for it. You discovered Theory before anybody else did.
I put him on the map. I mean, to be honest, he was so young when they signed him that I had to sign as his guardian on his WWE contract. So I'm on there with him.
Yeah.
Let's just tell the truth to the world.
I think at some point you've had to sign off as everyone's guardian, being the oldest man on the planet.
I have, because I've sired the planet, basically. Right. I am Bobby Fish, a.k.a. Father Time.
That is true.
Methuselah.
The Father Time.
Methuselah, huh? All right.
She'll turn you to stone, Frank.
Yeah, that's right.
You don't want that.
No, that was Medusa that did that.
Medusa?
Really? Alundra Blaze? She threw the
I didn't know
belt
she did
in the
that.
garbage can. That's Greek mythology. She had the belt, and I don't know. You'll turn to stone though, Frank. And then what?
I have no idea. I have no idea what just happened.
Okay, so Theory, Cena, first box checked.
Where does Theory go from here?
Good work. Disney World.
Okay, makes sense.
Yeah, like he won the Super Bowl.
Well, they're in LA, Disneyland.
Oh, Disneyland. Mm-hmm. But I think he lives in Florida. I know.
Well, once he gets home,
I don't know if he still does. He could. Yeah.
No.
I think he goes to Raw on Monday night, which again, there's more. That thing, it's basically turned into a weekend. Friday to Monday, WWE owns this weekend. And it's pretty cool, man. It is.
Why would you run a show parallel to WrestleMania week?
Who?
Just in general, like, what would be the thought process of, you know what, I'm going to put a show on any one of those 3 nights where they got Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I mean, do you want to draw people, or are you just trying to grab?
Well,
I don't know.
Let's put it this way, or let's think about it this way. The whatever the host city is, there's always a ton of indie shows, and I know where you're going, but there's always a ton of shows around that because they have wrestling fans in the one place. Now, is that an antiquated model at this point? Like we talked to Kevin Kelly not too long ago about that very thing, and about the house being not the get that it once was, and that the model moving forward is the TV model. So does it make sense for some other companies to still live by the antiquated model? I think so, yes, because that gets them, that's their lane, and then they're occupying and owning their lane. Like Bloodsport ran a show, and I believe.
Well, that's what I mean.
I don't know what their numbers are, but they did well.
6 shows. There was like 5 or 6 shows just squished into that Friday and Saturday period.
Yeah. Like, I don't know. I mean,
it wasn't just one show. It was like a broad, like all of a sudden, hey, let's put like 10 shows this whole weekend and see what happens.
It's a wrestling bonanza. Let's just call it that. And to be honest, without passing judgment on anybody's activity in any way, shape, or form, let's just look at it this way. Like, it's the Super Bowl of the industry, hands down the Super Bowl of the industry. And to think that this was Vince McMahon's brainchild all those years ago, and he looped in Cyndi Lauper and Mr. T and the Rock and Wrestling Connection, Muhammad Ali, and it's Liberace. It started Liberace. Such like meager roots, and it was still very much had a little bit of that carnival stink to it that I know I'm pretty sure Vince has spent most of his career trying to wash that off. But to watching like the spectacle that it was, I think I was recognizing that in the Logan Paul Seth Rollins match. I was recognizing
Good segue.
Well, yeah, and I'm not even segueing, but the spectacle that, because I was watching and I've talked about it before with Seth, but just his over the top and his leaning into that, like pro wrestling is supposed to be ridiculous and supposed to be blown up and magnified, and like his pants are blown up and magnified. You know what I mean? Like he's taking it literal, but he's doing it in such a well thought out way, or maybe it's not thought out. I don't know, but the man has fearless. I'll say this, fearless. Like I find it hard to believe that he digs the blonde in his hair. Like I don't think he digs it. I think, but who he is. Like I think he doesn't dig it, but he digs it. And it's just being that thing for the people, for being willing to take your personal person and turn yourself into that thing that, that's pro wrestling.
He was quite Jeff Jarrett looking last evening.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love it. It's some of the things I like, some of the nuance I appreciate the most about his stuff right now is that fearlessness of, the man wore Super Mario boots.
Yeah.
On Monday Night Raw. Like, and even the ring entrance gear and just the gear in general for him and Logan Paul was, dare I say, along similar lines that were, some people are gonna like it's not being too cool for school. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yeah, 100%.
And I think that's such a rare place to be, but such a great place to be when it comes to pro wrestling, because pro wrestling is, Hulk Hogan was ridiculous. Come on. Say your prayers, eat your vegetables.
Huh?
Eat some vegetables, guys. Come on.
Eat my vegetables.
Eat some corn.
I'm
Eat
vegan. All right, here we go. So where are we? Are we on Seth?
Let's talk about Seth
and Logan.
Okay.
Let's keep going with that.
Okay. Who wants to start?
Did you guys know who the guy in the bottle was?
His brother is actually the guy who fought Floyd Mayweather on the card that I fought on.
Oh, okay.
Deji is the brother of KSI.
So when he first revealed his face, I would have bet dollars to donuts that was R-Truth.
I thought it was Terry Deese.
Oh,
I thought it was Don Lewis. Actually, I thought it was Jake Paul. When the guy first came down to the ramp with him, I'm like, oh, that's gonna be Jake.
Well, I thought that's what
Snake?
the reveal was going to be, but once I saw his face, I knew it wasn't Jake Paul. It was clearly not
I thought it was going to be Jake the Snake Roberts, but then I was like, wait, he works for AEW, probably not.
Right.
And so I was a little bit disappointed.
It's probably past his bedtime too. So
well, because then I thought too he might have his tongue split like a snake. Oh. You know what I mean?
Gotcha. But yeah, as I was watching that, I'm like, is that R-Truth? Because that would be awesome if it's R-Truth.
Yeah.
Because I love me some R-Truth. He's fucking hilarious.
The ageless one.
But
like me.
Match overall, what are we thinking on the match?
I don't know. Somebody else start.
Love it. Loved it. I love the simplicity of it, and the last part of the match when he hits the spot on Jake Paul. Jake Paul does his deal, and it was good. I mean, there was really there's a few spots in there, yeah, but nothing that anybody got hurt on.
Right.
Not to me. I thought the whole thing was great.
I loved it.
I think just sit back and enjoy, and that's what yesterday was as a whole. But after that match, that was my leading vote getter for MVP of the day for a while until a bit later in the card. But that was my lead for a while.
I thought overall last night, a majority, probably 90% of the matches told great stories.
Yeah,
there was a lot of storytelling in the matches, even with Jake and Seth, and Jake's hand, hurting his knockout hand early on, and then it comes back to he hits the knockout punch on Seth, but can't put him away with it because it wasn't a full blown knockout punch. Which I think it's kind of funny that Jake Paul's finisher is the knockout punch. It made sense with the Big Show, but I'm sorry, Logan. Logan's not the knockout artist, but I get it with being the boxer.
Yeah. Talking about the whole card being good, and I don't want to necessarily critique this match, but I do because there were so many people in it who I appreciate. But the tag, it had some great moments, man. Great moments.
That was sneaky good.
Yeah,
the showcase match?
When Docs blew up Strowman, credit to Strowman won for whatever. I don't want to talk about it in those terms, but credit to Strowman. Credit to Docs for that looked like a blindside tackle in football.
Yeah,
it was awesome. Credit to Ray Rowe, or not Ray Rowe. Is he Ivan or Ivar or
Ivar?
Yeah. Kind of luring Braun. Everybody played their piece, in that particular situation, but as a whole in the match, like everybody had their moments to shine. Nobody shined, to where they were being selfish. Everybody helped everybody else. Like I really, man, I was happy. I was just smiling. When that match ended, I just had a smile on my face.
Well, they called it the WrestleMania showcase match or whatever it was, and that's really what it was. It was a hell of a showcase of all of those guys.
It was cool. It was cool.
And Braun Strowman is just ridiculously enormous human. Like he
is.
Like he came out and
I want Otis to be world champion.
Okay.
All right.
Otis is my world champion.
He's in a good spot there. I mean, it could someday. It could. You just don't know.
Otis is Frank's world champion, so he's like the Demi champion now. Is that what we're?
I think my son has Otis upstairs someplace. I have to bring him down. He might have to grace.
Could he be next year's Demi Award?
Possibly.
Maybe that's
is the Demi Award every year given to a different? Is the honor of being the Demi Award like bestowed upon a different worker?
I think it's a good idea.
Well, yeah. I mean, will the Hulkamania shirt and the Mr. T, will it fit on an Otis?
Fairly confident. I don't think it'll fit the toy Otis or any kind of Otis.
You could try to put it on him, though. I think that would be hilarious.
Yeah. Okay.
I did like the commentators making reference that Otis sweats a lot. That was pretty funny.
Yeah. All right. Back to business, boys. Where are we? So Seth and Logan, anything else?
Good storytelling, good finish.
Good story. Yep.
Well done. Well done by a non-professional.
One of my friggin' favorites.
How he has not main evented a WrestleMania is pretty impressive. I didn't realize that. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I feel like he did in that one where he cashed in the Money in the Bank. I mean, guy did main eventing.
True.
But yeah, if that is the case, because I don't keep track of stats like that. I got enough trouble keeping track of the, how to tie my shoes. Yeah, or the dog who's outside. I think.
He's gone somewhere.
Yeah, he's outside. I think on our property. I think he's still. But yeah. Now you got me off track, and I can't even.
So let's stay with storytelling, and I mean, I think one of the best storytelling matches, aside from the main event that we'll get to, was Ray and Dom. That was, first of all, the entrances were awesome. I thought, Dom coming out in handcuffs in the way that he presented himself, and then Ray coming out to Eddie Guerrero's theme, in the lowrider with Snoop. Yeah, that was kind of awesome.
I thought it was great.
And he had a Muta-esque mask on.
Yes, yeah, he did.
So was that like in honor of one of who the movie was? He honoring a movie character?
Muta, the great Muta.
Oh no, but not a movie, not a superhero. It was Muta.
Yeah, they talked about it with him, and I think in the presser afterwards.
Oh,
and it was a nod to Muta.
Okay. Because I kind of thought the same thing, but I hadn't heard what you guys were talking about, so I didn't have confirmation. So then I was like, "Is there a superhero that I don't know about? Because he's done that before." Right. Yeah. I'm glad that's where you started, Dennis. I loved the entrances. Big shout out to Officer Dan Barry. I had no idea that he was now a police officer, but good for him. Officer Barry, good day, sir. Anyway, back to business. I thought it was good. Yeah, Dom's entrance. Something felt special about that right from the entrances.
Yeah.
It felt like something big was happening. And then the, little making it about Ray's family without that dominating the
they didn't make it dirty.
No, and it didn't dominate the screen, and it was, didn't do anything ridiculous like have Dom put hands on his mother or something. You know what I mean? Right. It was it was just well done, just done so well. And the little add in with Ray's daughter and
the water.
I was there for all of it. Yeah, like I mean, Dom, like, come on, like brothers and sisters, you know, like that's definitely not the first time that Dom threw water in his sister's face. You know,
no.
You know, so all very well done. Just very well done, man. Very well done. I thought, you know, Ray, such a class act. You've already touched upon it, coming out with the lowrider and all that. And like, he always pays homage to Eddie, which I deservedly so. But at the same time, like some people, they forget those roots, and they don't do that stuff. So good on him for remaining that way. And then it all started for me the Hall of Fame night. Like Ray's induction was incredible.
Awesome.
Yeah. I want to acknowledge Conan. What a great induction!
Spectacular.
Speech. Great induction speech, and it was heartfelt, and it was real. Like it was awesome. And Ray, a guy who universally is loved the way that he is, and you know, I mean, I met him a few times. I don't know him too well, but the things that you hear said about the man, and then seeing the way he treated his family and the way he honored his wife, I don't know, man. How do you not? You're a you're a devil worshiper if you don't feel good after watching that stuff and knowing the weekend ride that Rey Mysterio's on. And you know, today he gets to sit back and just enjoy the show, and that's got to be pretty cool too.
Props to Dom and everybody that was involved in the story too. Like when he was inducted, they got up and walked out.
Yeah,
so
pretty
talk
good.
about like staying and being true to that story and that character. That was
although there was do wrestling the right way.
I saw a picture that was like, it was like he was trying very hard to stay in character, but you could tell like he was welling up with, you know, because he's proud of his dad, obviously. So it wasn't,
or maybe he wasn't.
Well, the vibe was because he was starting to, like, he was getting emotional. So it was probably, so I was
maybe
like,
maybe his emotion was like, I'm gonna kick that dude's ass tomorrow.
Possibly. Quite possibly.
It was crazy too because Conan, his induction speech was all about Ray. Like how they met and how the whole thing, it was crazy. It's how he discovered him from start to finish, ECW stuff, WCW.
Yeah.
It was good.
He honored Rey Mysterio, the man, you know, the guy being inducted. He yeah, I mean that's what you're supposed to do. Induction speech.
Yeah.
That's the blueprint.
Kind of,
you know,
that's
the one I want when I go into the Colony High School Hall of Fame.
We're still working on that, by the way.
Yeah, I'm going, boys. I'm going. Class Heartthrob, come on. How can I not be in?
Exactly.
How can I not? You know,
Frank, I agree.
Don't be jealous, Frank. Looking at me like I
killed my doggy.
I may have lost my dog. My dog's, I don't know. Might be in Albany right now. He might be at your house. Okay. Where are we at? Dom, Ray. All done. Ray, class act. Dom, piece of shit.
Great.
Piece of shit. Dom got what he deserved.
He did. It's actually how I actually get to talk to him on this upcoming Thursday.
Yeah. And he's got Monday. I'm sure Dom, it's a 3-hour Raw, and you know that Raw is the most unpredictable Raw of the year. I think, you know, Dom's gonna come back Monday rebounding like a basketball in some way. So we'll see. It's good. He's good stuff.
It's good.
All right, where are we at?
We got
Rhea Charlotte.
On to the next.
Man,
okay, we going there?
Banger. Just start to finish.
Yeah.
I mean, Charlotte got a mixed reaction. Face value, Rhea was the face of the match. She was getting some pops.
Yeah.
But man, they turned it on. That was wrestling at its finest right there.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
I mean,
Frank,
it's generally
Frank,
it was generally not my genre, but that one had me hook, line, and sinker.
Okay. Well, my daughter Willow, we watched it this morning, and she was pretty all about it. Like that one finished, and I looked over at her, and she just looked at me and said, "Like, ooh, that was good."
That's when you know something's good. So hey, that was the good stuff right there.
And Bianca wasn't even in the match, so I know they worked hard, and it was, that one had a lot of just about everything you could ask for. It was good. Anymore?
I can't say it enough. The crowd was just so into the matches, like the false finishes. They were just on their feet. But if you can do that for a 4-hour show, you're doing it right. You're doing it right.
And it adds to all of it. You know, if people were sitting on their hands for all of those matches, you would have a slightly different impression. It's subconscious. It just is what it is. It's not to say that like you couldn't watch the same match and not, if the reactions weren't there, not still think like, oh yeah, it was positive as opposed to negative, but not the same.
For some reason, that's how I look at it. Like I'm for watching it. If the crowd's into it and they're hot, then it makes me want to watch even more. If they're on their hands, like you said, like maybe I'm not. I shouldn't be enjoying this. I don't know.
Yeah, it helps. I mean, how could it not? All those pieces of the puzzle go together. It's a TV product now, so I think all the boys and girls realize they're working for, the viewers at home too. It's not just the house crowd, but you're trying to get that house crowd to react because they're the ones that can give you immediate feedback. The people at home, there's no feedback. So that's your barometer for how you're doing.
That's right.
It's the house crowd. So give me that house crowd all day, every day. Yeah.
That's good. Yeah.
All right, boys. All right. So last one, and then we'll tie up this recap.
Before we get into the main event, did you guys see Kevin and Sami at the presser and Kevin eating the Snickers?
No.
It was awesome. He was clearly hungry because Snickers was one of their big sponsors,
right?
Especially for the post-show stuff. And so Sami was talking about the storyline and the way it was executed and kind of how it's the new blueprint of storylines. And meanwhile, Kevin is sitting there like looking around. And he kind of opens his Snickers and starts eating the Snickers. And I'm like, yeah, I would have done the same thing. You can't put like 30 candy bars in front of me and expect me not to eat something. Like,
yeah.
So, and Kevin also gave some
Fed
major
like
props.
A true adult.
Yeah, candy.
Fed like a bill-paying adult.
And Kevin gave some serious props to the Briscoes last night in their presser too. Jay and Mark.
Did he really? I didn't. I didn't catch it.
Yeah, it's a big influence and a major, two major players in Kevin and Sami's, on the come up and just stuff that they've, the work they've done and whatnot. And big up the Briscoes.
There's a little bit of an anecdote I would like to throw in there when the time is right, just about Sami and Kevin at that time, blah blah blah. But let's start at the. Let's start the beginning of the match or what your guys' thoughts.
Here's an interesting stat. There's only been 2 tag team matches in the history of WrestleMania for the main event. That being one of them.
Wow.
Can you name the other one?
Hogan and Mr. T.
Yes.
Yes, there you go.
WrestleMania 1.
Yeah. Wow. Huh. Wow. That's nuts.
So it is nuts when you think about it. In how far Sami Zayn, because think of Sami Zayn, you had called this the match he had in Knoxville last year was pretty big. Was good.
Yeah.
To come from that, and now he's main eventing day one of WrestleMania in a tag match with his best buddy. That's pretty cool.
Well, I'll say this too. So I got 2 points to make here. One is the one I was going to bring up before, but for me watching that's Steen Erico or Steen and El Generico from years ago when they were on top in Ring of Honor. And I was still like making my way to Ring of Honor or what I was, maybe on my way in. I don't remember, but they were looked at as like this great team, but this great team that's just not WWE material. It's not, to think all these years later, they're on top in that spot, and it's basically Steen Erico. It's that team. Both guys have gotten a different coat of paint or whatnot, but they're on top, main event of night one, and they're facing the Usos, who are like the perennial tag team of modern day WWE, who were WWE guys, right? Because they fit the blueprint, not necessarily of the fact that they were 6 foot this and jacked, et cetera, but they fit the blueprint in that like they're Samoan, like there's that bloodline, no pun intended, but that runs through the industry, that with WWF, they know where their bread is buttered when it comes to that. So yeah, of course that's kind of a, you're going to probably get a look. But I think for years, like that was kind of something that the Usos had to contend with too, because people didn't want to give them credit for being a good tag team and good at the industry and stuff too, that it was just like, oh yeah, well, you knew they were gonna, but they got the goods, man, and they can deliver. So to see those two worlds all these years later intersect in such a fantastic, nuanced storyline. And I'm going to get ahead of myself here, so you guys might have to pull me back. But I was thinking that at the end of that match, especially when they hit, the stunner and the haluva kick, and Sami kept hitting the haluva kick on Jay. And it was like anybody who and what they did at the beginning of that match, the recap before they got into the match was almost as good as the match.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you guys thought that. I honestly it reminded me of things that I'd forgotten about with the storyline because I hadn't followed it, I don't always watch Raw. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Really just so well done. And definitely feeling something at the end of that one. Like, yeah, Sami getting his back.
Yeah.
100%.
So yeah, very, very cool. And then so any more thoughts on that from you guys?
On that particular?
I'm trying to keep something in mind here.
Because I'd like to see Cody win tonight and those three like have a faction of some point. Because they kind of teased about it a few weeks ago. I think it's on SmackDown.
Oh.
I think it'd be a cool faction of Cody and those three together.
Okay. Well, I mean, it's kind of where I'm sitting. Michael Cole, again, another. I mean, all the pieces of the puzzle come together at WrestleMania, right? Everybody puts on their A game. Michael Cole, what a call at the end of that, bringing up how with the Usos losing their titles, what happens if Roman loses his, or like just reminding everybody, being the birdie in your ear and making like kind of setting the table for what tonight represents. And again, you guys have brought this up with me. I think you did, Dennis, but something I've said a few times is there's more questions than answers, and that's when wrestling's good. And right now, going into night 2, there are way more questions than answers, but yet you had definitive results on night 1. You know what I mean? Right. You didn't have like schmas and DQs and things that like gave you no answers. You got answers. It's just those answers led to more questions.
Mm-hmm.
So just again, I mean, I just very, very well done all the way across the board. And I'm excited.
I agree. Going into tonight, there's a shit ton of questions. Like even I threw it out on Twitter just messing around the other night. I said, hear me out. What if Cody loses? Yeah. And people were like, no way. And I'm like, I mean, if they're keeping the bloodline story going together, nothing gives Roman more power over the 2 Usos than him still being a champion and them not.
Unless they split.
Listen, I mean, the debate that you guys are having right now is what makes it great. Yeah. You're proving my point.
I mean, you may have a riot in LA if Cody loses, but you know.
But what if one of the Usos cost Roman the match, and then you've got one of the Usos against Roman down the line? You throw the Rock. There's so many ways you can go about doing this.
Roman, what was it? Before the Usos lost last night, another interesting thing to consider was, okay, the Usos win, Roman loses. I think Cole brought this up, or maybe it was Corey Graves. But so then do the Usos become head of the bloodline? Like, you know, these are all of these like what ifs that, man, the what ifs are why this is, why a grown man, why a grown adult can still enjoy this. You know, 100%. It's okay. It doesn't have to be a guilty pleasure when it's done right, you know, and dare I say, night 1 WrestleMania, whoever's pulling the strings, whoever's doing the shit, like, well, just well done. And you people out there can say whatever the fuck you want about me trying to get my job back or me trying to, you know, whatever. It's well done, period.
Facts
done.
are facts.
End of story. Facts are facts. So say whatever you want. I'm not. I enjoyed it, and I'm here for night 2. And my 10-year-old was all about it. Like, yeah. So
you said something funny, but not funny.
The first you wrote in on.
Funny how? Funny like a clown?
Funny how? Oh man, how great was that?
That was good. But here,
that was so
my
good.
point is this:
there's some acting chops there. There are some acting chops in the bloodline. Like everybody was good in that. Go ahead.
I want to let Frank make his point before I bring something up at the end of that little vignette that they did that kind of caught my attention with Solo.
Okay. How cool is it though that you can sit and watch WrestleMania with a 10-year-old daughter, your 10-year-old daughter, and not have any reservations that you know you're going to see some things that she might not want to see.
All right.
That's the good stuff. That's family entertainment, folks.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's truly what it was. We started planning at the beginning of the weekend for like what snacks we were going to have. And then I went to
that's a good
yesterday
stuff.
And I bought, you know, ice cream that she didn't eat last night. So she's going to eat it tonight. And it's
exactly.
Like,
there you go.
Yeah. That's the good stuff. You're right, Frank. Dennis, you guys are right, man. That's it.
And I'm going to buy some snacks tonight too.
So real quick on the, at the end of that little Goodfellas nod that they did when Solo,
so good, man.
Solo looks and goes, "You are a funny tribal chief."
Mm-hmm.
And I went, "Was that is that an Easter egg kind of thing where it's like so? You know what I'm saying?"
Good point, Dennis. And that's a very wrestling thing to do.
Because it was not a tongue-in-cheek or joking kind of make everybody laugh thing. He just kind of said it like, "Yeah, you kind of are funny as the tribal chief."
Uh-huh.
So interested to see what Solo does tonight.
Solo's a bad dude.
Or do you let that thing marinate even longer?
Right.
I don't know.
If you listen to Bruce Pritchard's podcast, the older ones where he talks about like how they got to Savage and Hogan and all that kind of stuff, he talks about, hey, look at this interview, this little nuance here, this little smirk here. That's the stuff that Des is talking about. You won't think about it in the moment, but 5 months from now, like, oh, that's right, that's happened in that vignette.
Right. And that's the stuff that I think that's the good stuff, period. End of story. No explanation required. Right. That's the good stuff. The give it to, I want it now mentality. It just, I don't know. I'm not here for it. I shut that down right away. Like, I have no interest.
I want to be able to watch it now, and 6 months later, I want to watch it. I want to see it play through.
Yeah, I mean, it's all of that. Those little things. That's. I don't know. That's just understanding the business and the psychology that's there, and that psychology. The manipulations are there for a reason to be used, and I say manipulations, but that may not be the right choice of words. Because that has like kind of a negative connotation, but I don't mean it negatively at all. I mean it in the greatest way possible.
They're just hitting right now, and it's funny because when you brought up people saying about you trying to lobbying to get your job back. Listen, this is for the most. It's not a podcast dedicated completely to professional wrestling, but when things are done right, we're gonna praise them. Like no matter who
and we're going to talk about it a lot. Like we came up with this today doing this recap.
And that goes for, and it's not just WWE. If we see something we like elsewhere, we will say what we like, and if we don't like it, we might not talk about it, or we're going to let you know, like, no, we thought it was done incorrectly.
You can hate me all you want.
I don't hate you. That's not true.
I'm speaking facetiously. Right?
Bless you.
Yes, gesundheit. But I am a straight shooter. And that's what gets me in trouble sometimes. It's got me in trouble many times. It's part of the reason why there's a large sect of the wrestling audience that doesn't like me, and that's fine. But I'm going to give you my opinion. It's going to be mine, when it's real. It's my real opinion, and that's what I'm giving you now. And I don't give it unsolicited. I don't give it when people, aren't asking for it. This is my podcast. So obviously if you're tuning in, in kind of a roundabout way, you're asking for it.
Yeah, it's true.
And that's why on this podcast, you will hear that. But again, point being, it's my truth. I'm going to speak my truth. And it's gotten me in trouble before. We all know this, but I'll make that same mistake 100 times over. It just is what it is. If it even is a mistake, because
sometimes
in life, in the Bible, it's in the Bible. Speak your truth.
Sometimes in life, people don't like the truth. They want to hear what they want to hear, and sometimes they don't like it.
I didn't hear what you said. What, Frank?
Kitty, kitty, meow, meow.
Oh, perfect.
Meow, meow, meow,
Let's wrap up like this. Let's wrap up like this.
Yeah, we got to wrap it up like a condom.
What can we...
Sorry.
What can we expect tonight? Any surprises you guys think?
Brutus the Barber beefcake.
Okay.
That would be a surprise for sure.
It would. What if he cashed in a Money in the Bank that no one knew he won?
Brutus beefcake?
Yeah.
Oh.
Became world champion.
That would be extremely surprising. It would.
It would. Do you think people would talk about that
forever?
I think it would be yes. Okay.
I mean, main event. Obviously, we're all looking forward to the championship match and the Bianca Belair match. The Hell in a Cell.
Yeah, the Hell in a Cell is another. Yeah.
Brock.
I mean, what's that?
That's right, Brock and Omos.
Yeah, Brock and Omos. That's I'm curious to see.
I'm
how that one plays out. I think
we got the
MVP,
Intercontinental.
is going to have something to do in that one. Intercontinental's the match I've been waiting all weekend for. You just got, I forgot. I'm waiting all weekend for that, and I forgot about it. God.
It's like going to the bathroom.
Concussions are real, boys.
You forget to go to the bathroom, Frank?
Go in your pants.
I went to the bathroom on my dog this morning.
My pants are wet.
Did I say that out loud? No.
I don't. Oh, boy.
All right. Yeah, man, that one's great. I know my daughter super looking forward to Bianca and Asuka, and I am too. I mean, that's great. Night 2 is. I don't know how it's going to live up to night 1, but I'm excited to see them try.
The table is definitely set to live up or pass with the matches they have tonight. It should be at least as good as last night was.
Well,
I think Cody wins. Randy Orton comes out.
Ooh, Frank.
He's there. From what I understand, Randy is in LA, and they're starting to they want to start bringing him back. So we'll see. But
small, just come out and stand on the stage and give a stare down to Cody. Don't get physical. Just a subtle.
If he's going to stand on that stage, he's going to need binoculars to see Cody. That shit is fucking huge.
You're saying my beefcake theory
probably not going to happen.
Less probable.
Yeah.
All right. I don't think the Bruce is coming back anytime soon.
I mean, it's not really the Demi Boy's job to shoot down your ideas, but I think in this one, Frank's might make a little more sense.
Yeah. Not much, but a little bit.
Yeah. Well, I got a Jameson on the rocks with my name on it.
Oh, well, enjoy that. Yeah, I am not drinking tonight. I got a school night.
I've been drinking all weekend.
Oh, lucky you.
All week, actually. I've been drinking for 7 years now.
Straight.
7 years straight.
Well, then we need to give a Demi award to your liver. How long
I've been alive. I've been alive forever.
Yeah,
so 7 years is not that long when you're as old as I am.
No, but I do think we need to give an honorary Demi award to your liver. So congrats.
Yeah,
that's impressive.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well,
liver. All right.
I think it's gentlemen, enjoy night 2 of WrestleMania, listeners.
Night 2, yes.
Enjoy it.
Enjoy it. Merry Mania, Merry WrestleMania to all, and to all.
A good Mania.
A good night.
That's not the words. That's no. That's Bobby closes with good night, Bobby.
Are we closing that? Are we doing? What are we doing? Are we closing this, or is this
I thought you were going to do a
Merry
Mania to all and to all a good night, and I was going to stop recording, and you just stopped. You stopped talking.
So let's do it that way. A Merry Mania to all, and to all a good night.
Like a well-oiled machine.